Is the new CBTL milk frother worth adding to your own at-home coffee shop? We're going to find out today on Aromacup.com. Hi everyone, I'm Brian with Aromacup.com. Thanks as always for joining me here in my virtual coffee shop brought to you by Aromacup.com. Today I'm showcasing the new milk frother by CBTL. We have reviewed in the past CBTL's previous milk frother. You can check that video out if you're looking for some information. But this is their new updated version, and we thought we would show you guys some of the new features that they've added to their milk frother. So let's talk about what's in the box with the new CBTL milk frother. So of course, first off, we're going to have our manual. Pretty straightforward, but it's going to give you some information about utilizing the milk frother. I'm going to tell you pretty much everything you're going to find inside of this in just a moment here. Next up, you have your frothing whisks. Now, this whisk is going to be used for simply stirring your milk and heating it up. This one, which looks just like many of the whisks that we're used to seeing, is for actually giving yourself froth and foam. Now, those are going to attach to your milk frother's lid. Let's talk about the frother itself. Now, the frother does not actually come away from this base that it sits on. In the past, most milk frothers sit on a base and you remove it from that base. This one's a little bit different. I should mention it's got a lot of heft to it. It's certainly a heavy piece of gear, which I do think is good because it's not going to move around on your counter while it's stirring milk. That's good. And you're going to find the lid is, of course, going to be attached to the unit. Now, the lid is where your frothing whisks are going to go, and I'll talk about that in a sec. The next thing you have in the box is going to be your milk receptacle, your pitcher. Now, this, as you can see, slides directly into the milk frother. Part of one of the reasons why it's pretty hefty, because this is an actual metal and steel pitcher, so it is of good quality. And then finally, of course, you have the frothing body itself. On the inside of the milk pitcher, you're going to find some minimum, maximum, and then another maximum fill line. Now, the minimum is the minimum amount of milk that you can put into this unit in general, and that's 3 ounces of milk. The next max line is for frothing milk, that's 5 ounces of milk, and the top line is 13.5 ounces of milk. That's for simply stirring and heating up milk. If you want to get the froth, you don't want to add a whole lot of milk because you're going to froth that up and turn it into foam. Now, the pitcher sits inside of the frothing mechanism. Now, this frother uses induction heating. So induction heating is going to give you a much more efficient froth or much more efficiently heated milk when you're utilizing that over just regular coil heat. Let's go ahead and add a little bit of milk and then we'll talk about the whisks. I'm just going to fill up to the 5-ounce milk line. That's going to give me enough to be able to simply froth some milk. And now let's talk about how we make use of these whisks. Now, as opposed to the previous CBTL frother, which I had reviewed, that one was a little bit hard to use with respect to the whisks. They were hard to attach, they were hard to take off. This is much better. These attach simply with the use of magnets. And all you have to do is just essentially kind of hover it over this prong that sticks out from the lid, and that whisk is going to attach itself. So you can simply attach either of these. Very easy to do. The lid also has this silicone ring on it to keep milk from splashing out, keep air in, which should give you more efficient milk heating. So in order to start heating your milk, you just simply need to attach that whisk. I'm going to use the frothing whisk, as I say. Now you're going to take this lid and you're going to notice, this is the one last thing I'm going to mention here before I froth, there's 2 indicators right here. And one of these is an unlock icon and the other is a lock icon. Now, essentially what that means is that you're going to line up this small white arrow with one of those icons in order to lock this unit. So you can just set this on, line it up with the unlock, turn it. These notches are going to line up right here, which is also going to tell the unit that it's time to start brewing. You're going to see now that the button here at the bottom of the frothing unit is glowing red and blue. Let's go ahead and just press it once. When it's glowing red, by simply pressing it once, we're going to froth our milk. So that's going to be for hot froth. And so that, of course, is going to be useful for if you are creating some kind of espresso-based drink which you want to be hot. Now, another improvement with this new CBTL milk frother is that it does cold froth. And in order to make use of that, you're simply going to hold down that button for 3 seconds. It's going to glow blue, and you're going to not apply any heat to the milk, and you're just going to stir it or froth it. So that's useful for an iced coffee drink of some kind that you might be making. Or maybe you don't like to have heat on top of heat when you are creating a coffee drink. Maybe you just want for your coffee to handle the heat side of your beverage. That's where that cold brew is going to come in useful for the stirring with this CBTL milk frother. So the milk frothing time just now came in at about 2.5 minutes. So we used a little bit of magic of television there to skip forward in time, but we did keep track of how much time we were using to froth the milk, about 2.5 minutes. Not too bad. Let's see what we got. Again, like I say, there's no clear window on the top of this, so I can't see what I'm going to get. So it's a little bit of a surprise, and there we go. We've got some foam going on. Let's see what we got out of the CBTL. So we can just take that pitcher out, and that's the foam that we just created. Not looking too bad. Let's pour this into a cup. So that's pretty good. 5 ounces of milk just gave me a pretty impressive amount of foam. I mean, that would be all the foam I would need for my average, cappuccino or something along those lines. So that's not too bad. I do like the fact that the pitcher simply removes from the heating element, and you can just pour your milk from there. It's kind of nice to not have to maybe pick up this whole thing and pour the milk out. It's definitely going to save you from making a mess, which I think is good. It's also going to make it easier to clean because all you have to do is clean this now. And of course, if you need to make more froth milk, you can utilize that same whisk, or you could swap that whisk out, put the stirring whisk on, add your pitcher again, and then you could make a cold froth if you were interested in that. So definitely the usability is very easy with this unit. I have to give it some points for that. And this milk, let's check the temperature on it. So we're coming in at about 150 degrees Fahrenheit, which I had done a milk froth previous to the making of this video and found that it was about 150 degrees. So it is staying consistent, which is quite good. Consistency is pretty important with any of these units in order to make sure that you're going to get the best possible product anytime that you're making use of it. So there you go. That's pretty easy to use. And as I say, I do like the overall make of the unit in general. Now let's talk about price. You're looking at about $69.99 for this unit. That's the suggested retail price. Not too bad to add a new milk frother to your at-home coffee shop. And what's my bottom line on this new milk frother by CBTL? I would say it's pretty good. I would probably add it to my own at-home coffee shop. I do have to say, as I say, there's a couple things I'm not crazy about with it. It is a little bit noisy. It doesn't have a window on the top so I can see what's going on. But it is certainly a marked improvement over the milk frother that I previously reviewed here on Aromacup.com by CBTL. I would say that this one certainly is miles above that. Very easy to use, nice solid design, and I really do very much like that ability to simply remove the pitcher. I would say that all of these things are going to make it a win, and the price, not too bad for being able to add one of these to your at-home coffee shop. So there you go, guys. That's the new milk frother by CBTL. Of course, you're going to want to check out the link in the description of our video here to find out how you can add it to your own at-home coffee shop. Check out our other videos to find out some more information about at-home coffee accessories like this one and many, many more. Thank you guys so much for watching us here on Aromacup.com. As always, I'm Brian reminding you to enjoy your cup, and I'll see you next time. Take care.